morning and good afternoon, sir. This is our project on CC102, and our title is Person Identification Report System. And let's start to our introduction. This flowchart illustrates the systematic process for identifying individuals as students or non-students based on their ID numbers. The progress begins by asking for the total number of people to be proceed, then checks each person's ID one by one. If the ID matches a predefined student's ID, the system automatically assigns a corresponding name and student status. If the ID does not match any stored record, the user can manually input the person's name and whenever they are a student or not. After all entries are proceed, the system generates a complete identification report that lists both students and non-students. This ensures accurate classification and organized record. And let's proceed to our flowchart. And the flowchart represents the complete logic and operational sequence of the person identification and reporting system, showing that the system processes each individual form data input to final report generation. Below is a long, expanded, and deeply explained version. And let's start our program. Mm. The process begins with program being initialized. These steps prepare the system to accept inputs and execute all succeeding operations. And number of people to proceed. The user prompt to enter how many individuals will be evaluated. These numbers serve as the basis of loop structure that ensure the system processes each person one by one. That defines and limit of the loop and prevent the system from accepting more entries than needed. A loop index is set to 0 at the start. The system then checks the condition is a loop index. If yes, the system proceeds to gather data for the next person. If no, the, the program concludes all entries and moves to reporting stages. This loop ensures that each iteration corresponds to one person's data. And for each iteration, the system asks user to enter the ID number of the person being proceed. This ID number is used to determine whenever the individual is known students or requires manual identification. Once the ID is entered, the system compares it with the set predefined stored ID numbers. If the entered ID matches 598442007, the system automatically assigns name Joshua Singson or status student. No further is required because this record is already recognized by system. If the entered ID 598445137, the system automatically assigns name Daniel Datas and status student. Again, the system skips manual entry because the ID is already known. And let's proceed to unknown ID. If if the entered ID does not match any stored ID, the system concludes the person is not in the predefined list. In this case, the user is required to manual In this case, the user is required to manually input name of the person, status student or non-students typically entered using Y and these steps ensure that the system can classify individuals beyond the present records. Add Add person to the list. After proceeding the ID match or manually entered, the system records the gathered data, name, ID, and student status into a structured list. This list will be contain all individuals processed during the session will be used later on generate the final report. The loop index increased by the 1 after each complete entry. This prepares the system for the next person and prevent infinite looping. Uh, the, the program returns to the loop condition. Is the loop index still less than total count? If yes, the system repeats the process for the next person. If no, all people and been processed and system continues to the reporting phase. After finishing all entries, the system automatically generates an identification report. These reports contain two main sections. All individuals defined as students whenever through automatic ID match or manual entry are listed here. List of non-students individuals manually marked as students are categorized in the section.